My grandparents were a living testament of old-fashioned money-saving tips. They both grew up in the Depression era. They no longer live, but their example does. In total, they taught me at least 27 old-fashioned money-saving tips, not from their words so much as by their example. However, how they lived during the Depression era versus how they lived post-Depression era did change a bit. They no longer lived in homes without electricity or depended on hunting and sustenance living like they once did. Root cellars ceased to be a thing post-Depression era, yet many of their frugal ways lived on. My grandpa was fortunate in that he actually became a millionaire. He didn't believe in stocks or risky business, but he was frugal in many ways. My grandma, whom I called Nana, lived classy but simply. Honestly, more often than not, the best way to save money is learning from those who have went before us and won. They won. Money saved can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but applying many of these old-fashioned money-saving tips will not only help you save money, but live healthier too, even on the leanest budget. Number 1, never follow a recipe. In other words, eat simply. My grandma was the best cook I've ever met, presenting her meals with both beauty and taste. But she also didn't spend her time trying the latest Jamie Oliver recipe, using exotic and expensive ingredients. She kept her recipes simple, using what she had on hand. They'd roast chicken with twice-backed potatoes and a simple side salad, or open-faced sandwiches for lunch diced with olives and resting on a bed of lettuce. Classy but simple. Number 2, use cloth over disposable. Handkerchiefs, cloth napkins, beautiful china and silverware, these were all used in their house over Kleenex, paper napkins, or disposable forks, spoons, and plates. My grandma told me she used cloth diapers in her day. I'm not sure what the latest stats are on spending for disposable items, but even choosing cloth diapers over disposable saves. And last I checked, disposable plates and accessories aren't cheap. Number 3, cook at home. Even as millionaires, my grandparents very rarely ate out. Maybe once in a while for an anniversary. But most of the time the other odds times didn't happen until they become a little older, and it was mostly confined to Tim Hortons, the Canadian version of Dunkin' Donuts, which is about the most inexpensive option as they come. Instead, my grandma would routinely make lunch and dinner. For breakfast, she would use cereal, but always insisted it be served with toast and a banana, probably to ensure we don't eat all the cereal at once. Sides still us up better. Number 4, buy quality. My grandparents may have been some of the most frugal people I knew, but they very much insisted on buying something once and making it last for the rest of their life. They didn't buy cheap furniture that would fall apart in 5 years. Everything was solid wood, beautiful, still lovely to this day. Honestly, many of their furniture is very classic and upper-class looking. It didn't stop at furniture. My grandma told me she would always invest in high-quality shoes. It makes sense, feet are important, and it pays to buy a pair that will last beyond a season. In the end, there are some things that really do save more money in the long run. If you think about it, buying a cheaper table for $500 that you need to replace every 5 years ends up being more expensive than investing in a $2,000 table that will last beyond your lifetime. I realize it's getting harder and harder to find quality, but that's why buying antiques or quality used items can be superior than newer in-store furniture. Number 5, take great care of your things. Taking great care of what you own might be an old-fashioned money-saving tip, but it makes everything you do own last longer. In the end, you save money because you no longer have to replace expensive appliances and furniture as often. In fact, my grandparents had the same washer and dryer for 40+ years, and it still looks brand new. I still remember walking into their house for the first time and being amazed at how clean and brand new their carpets looked. They would shampoo them about once a month. This meticulousness spread into everything they owned, from vehicles to clothing to home. It all looked great, lasted longer, and saved money because they took good care of their things and rarely bought replacements. Number 6, canning and preservation. While my grandparents didn't can and preserve food in their retirement, my nanny would stock her pantry full of canned goods her family could enjoy for the winter months, all from her own garden. This is a particularly healthy old-fashioned money-saving tip, as you can control the ingredients that go in, avoiding a lot of additives and preservatives we know aren't healthy for us. Number 7, chose classic over trendy. My grandma would often wear striped shirts, and not in the typical granny sense, but in a classic, stylish sense. Their furniture, like I stated, still looks good. It saves money to buy classic items for our clothing, homes, and lives because they will look good through the years. Trendy can get expensive because what looks great in terms of trends changes literally every 5 years. Instead, buy classic items. This old-fashioned money-saving tip will save you money and style. Number 8. Unplug electronics when not using them. Did you know you can save between 5 to 10% on your electric bill by unplugging electronic devices when not in use? Apparently, this made enough of an impression on my grandpa that he would routinely unplug his TV before retiring at night. Ditto for toasters and computers. Number 9. Buy new for less. Why pay a higher price for the same item when you can find a cheaper deal? My grandparents would routinely buy their clothing from outlet malls in places like Florida that had marked down prices for brand new clothing. They would do this annually rather than monthly. Since they took such good care of everything, there came a point when they barely ever bought clothing. Number 10. Do your own yard work. My grandparents had a stunning yard of about 1 and 2 an acre. They cared for it all by themselves, riding lawnmower and all. My papa was old-fashioned and used to aerate his own lawn to save money with golf shoes in the early spring. Number 11. Barter. That being said, when it came to the last years of their lives, they would get help from neighbors. Payment was not in the form of money, but honey. They would regularly buy honey from a local source and would buy extra for their neighbors as a token of appreciation. Number 12. Maintain a steady routine. It's no mystery that we live in a hectic, busy, stressed-out world. The fast food industry thrives on this, but our wallets and waistlines do not. Creating a routine that is steadier and less hectic prevents us from the constant temptation of eating out and overspending. Even when my grandparents were not retired, they lived at a balanced enough pace that they had time for picnics and after-work visits to the beach. The bottom line is, the less frantic we live, the less likely we are to buy convenient food and order takeout, all of which do not help us save money. Number 13. Save for wants and vacations. Buying for items on credit before we save the money for them always means we pay more out of pocket than we would had we saved for the said item. My grandparents always saved for vacations and other luxuries. Even though there are savings perks that can come with using credit cards, the statistics just don't show a real savings. Instead, they show that people on average spend more using credit cards than cash. It's simple, really. It feels less emotional when you use a card versus hard-earned cash. Number 14. Enjoy a hobby that isn't shopping. Shopping is fun and used to be my main hobby, but it can really add up. It's much more money-saving to have a hobby that's also free or frugal. From crossword puzzles, to reading books from the library, to riding your bike around the neighborhood, these pursuits can occupy almost anyone in a meaningful and pleasurable way, all without paying money. Number 15. Walk outside. Gyms can easily cost $50 over $100 a month and are truly necessary to be healthy. My grandma lived to be just over 100 years old and would walk regularly. Every month they saves up to $100. Translated over 20 years, that's $24,000. What's worse is Americans spend $1.8 billion a year on unused gym memberships. Half of those who join in January quit 6 months later. Number 16. Garden. Gardening especially saves money, especially when mixed with canning and preservation, cutting grocery costs through the year. Until the day they died, my grandparents had owned and maintained a garden. Number 17. Buy used where it makes sense. Need a new bike or want to try a new hobby? Maybe your child wants to pick up a new sport. Either way, choosing to buy used before you buy for a brand new $200 investment for a hobby you don't know will last saves money. If you find out you don't like it or use it often, or you know you won't use it very often, it makes more sense to buy used. If it's something you know you'll use all the time, it might be worth it down the road to upgrade. Number 18. Cherish heirlooms. Silverware handed down, jewelry passed down, and other treasures can be tossed away, sold, or they can be cherished. Having prized possessions that have been passed down may not be as obvious of an old-fashioned money-saving tip, but if you already have and cherish what you have, what would be the point of buying splurgy items? Number 19. Enjoy indulgences in moderation. Ice cream and milk, if consumed at a furious rate, can be costly. But approaching these items with moderation saves money because you no longer buy as much. It also improves your health. Perhaps this old-fashioned money-saving tip was left over from the Depression era. But my grandma insisted we only drink 1 glass of milk and ice cream once a week when we would visit in the summer times. Now I see that this was old-fashioned money-saving tip in disguise. Number 20. Avoid convenience food. Snacks in my grandparents' home were bananas, cheese and nuts, and maybe tea. There were no prepackaged munchies. It's not rocket science. A prepackaged, ready-made marketing traps called snacks almost always cost more than making them yourself, or choosing more natural options like fruit, nuts, and cheese. Number 21. Buy in bulk on sale items. I could remember my grandma buying several gallons of milk when they went on sale and freezing the excess for another time. Not only does it save money to freeze items you can't use right away, preventing food waste, stocking up on sale items ensures you skip buying full price. In the end, you save money. Number 22. If it still works, keep it, don't replace it. My grandparents' cookware, measuring spoons, and other household tools looked vintage and aged to say the least. Despite being millionaires, they wouldn't waste their money on frivolous changes. They weren't reading the magic of tidying up and tossing things because they didn't give them joy. Instead, if it still worked, they kept it. Joy was never found in things for them. Number 23. DIY decor, pressed flower and wallpaper in picture frames. That was just one example of my grandma's do-it-yourself decorating. So often our tastes can change, so making art ourselves can easily cost pennies compared to the price in store. Number 24. Eat seasonally. If growing a garden in an old-fashioned money-saving tip, eating with the seasons fans as well as a pair. Using what is already growing in your garden per the season to buying produce in the stores. The best prices in grocery stores for produce is seasonal. During the Depression era, shipped produce wasn't yet a thing, so eating seasonally was the only option. It turns out this habit lived on in my grandparents and only saved them money. Number 25. Picnic and potlucks. How do picnics and potlucks count as an old-fashioned money-saving tip? Potlucks were by far a relied-upon method to share food in groups because it was cheap, and picnics are a great alternative to eating out. It wasn't going to restaurants where I made memories with them, but it was on the beach enjoy the beautiful summer weather and food. Who knew we were also saving money? Number 26. Stretch meals with potatoes and sides. It was very rare for my grandma to serve up one-pot meals that are so popular today. A roast chicken was always paired with potatoes, a salad, and cornbread. Sides are cheaper than main courses and is a great old-fashioned money-saving tip to stretch your food and your grocery budget. Number 27. Make your own cleaning and body recipes. Using less shampoo means you save money. My Nana would fix her hair every day, but she wouldn't necessarily wash it brand new. Instead, she used dry shampoo. This saves time and money. My grandpa would clean his shower after every use to prevent mold by running a squeegee over it. But with only water, vinegar, and baking soda, many cleaners can be made and remade. Personally, our family saves easily $50, $75 a month, all because we make our own cleaners and body care products. It's truly amazing that you can improve your health and save money by following this one old-fashioned money-saving tip. The truth is, many of these old-fashioned money-saving tips can still save us plenty of money today without robbing us of joy. From home-cooked meals to healthy cleaning products to picnics in the park, saving money the old-fashioned way can actually add, not take, quality to our lives. Also watch other videos on this channel about frugality and how to save money.